Let's talk about our abodes, homes, promissory notes, and mortgages. My way of thinking face. Documents you should have. Knowledge of when you purchase your home. 1. Financial forms. 2. Affidavit of ownership, proof of purchase. Acceptance of warranty deed. 3. Proof of mortgage and original note filed at the county. Proof of fraud, they destroy the original. What is the purpose of a UCC financing statement? In fact, it is sometimes called a UCC financing statement. A creditor files a UCC-1 to provide notice to interested parties that he or she has a security interest in a debtor's personal property. This personal property is being used as collateral in some type of secured transaction, usually a loan or a lease. You're either a debtor, dead, or creditor, living. LEI greater than WEX greater than UCC financing statement. UCC financing statement. UCC financing statement, usually called a UCC-1 form, is a form that creditors file with states in which they have a security interest in a debtor's personal property. The financial statement serves a similar purpose as recording a deed for real property, registering debt with a state so other creditors and the government can track legitimate security interests in property. Creditors negotiate with debtors to have senior security interests, and with limited exceptions, creditors that file a UCC-1 form and related documents will rank above other creditors in accessing assets should the debtor become insolvent. However, if they do not file a financial statement, another creditor may negotiate and register a security interest on the same property. In which case, the new creditor likely will rank above the old creditor because there was no warning to the new creditor about the pre-existing security interest. Most states require the same form with limited variations and typically require basic information about the debt including the parties, amounts, contact information, and sometimes extra documentation. New York uses an old UCC-1 form that has quite a few differences from all other states, however, such as requiring more information on the form and information in an addendum. Under Article 9 of the UCC, the steps of a secured transaction are 1. Getting collateral, 2. Attachment, and 3. Perfection and priority. Filing UCC financing statement is one requirement of the perfection step. Perfection determines which party has priority in the collateral, and gives notice to the public who has secured interests in the collateral and who claims first. However, if a security interest wasn't attached first, it cannot be perfected. Since the attachment clarifies that the debtor has rights to the collateral, the creditor has extended value to the debtor, and they have a security agreement or authenticated record defining the collateral. Without it, the creditor's rights in the debtor's collateral cannot be enforceable against the debtor and third parties. Once attached, the creditor should choose the following ways to perfect their secured interest. Guidepost. https://www.law.cornell.edu/wex/uc_financing. Statement. Perfection can be obtained through the UCC financing statement, purchase money security, interests PMSI, and through possession control. UCC financing statement. Perfection can be obtained by a creditor by filing a UCC financing statement with the Secretary of State. A qualified financing statement should include debtor and secured party's name, collateral describing, and a creditor or other person authorized by the debtor in their security agreement files it if there are some errors or omissions that do not comply with the above requirements. The financing statement may still be effective unless such mistakes make the statement substantially deviating and seriously misleading. For example, a financing statement that did not provide the name of the debtor was presumed to be misleading unless the debtor's correct name was available in the Secretary of State's office. Purchase money security interests PMSI. PMSI means the debtor still has rights to the collateral when a creditor extends the value of the collateral. Article 9 of the UCC gives special protection of PMSI of consumer goods, i.e., goods purchased mainly for personal or family purposes, to creditors to encourage lending to consumers. Thus, Filing a financing statement is not required for PMSI of consumer goods, for it is automatically perfected. For non-consumer goods of PMSI, the creditor still needs to fill out the financing statement. If they file it before or within 20 days after the debtor receives delivery of the collateral, then the security interest takes priority over conflicting interests which arise between the time the security interest attaches and the time of filing. Possession or control. Perfection can also be obtained by possessing or controlling the collateral. Last updated in June of 2022 by the WEX Definitions team, WEX Commerce Business Law Commercial Law WEX Definitions Search People. Continuation of previous page. Promissory note versus mortgage. A promissory note is a document between the lender and the borrower in which the borrower promises to pay back the lender. It is a separate contract from the mortgage. The mortgage is a legal document that ties or secures a piece of real estate to an obligation to repay money. 1 U.S. Code. Table of Contents. 2 Chapter 41. Consumer Credit. Protection. Sections 1601-1693R. 3 Title 15 Commerce and Trade. 4 Subchapter I. Consumer Credit Cost Disclosure. Sections 1601-1667F. 5 Part E. Consumer Leases, Section 1667. 1667F. 615 U.S. Code Part E. Consumer Leases. 715 U.S. Code Section 1667 Definitions. In that order I showed in previous videos how to maneuver through U.S. Code and CFRs. Your guidepost, because your abode falls under TILA, Truth in Lending. 1 Electronic Code of Federal Regulations ECFR Table of Content. 2 Electronic Code of Federal Regulations ECFR Title 12 Banks and Banking. 3 Chapter X Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Parts 1000, 1092, 1099. 412 CFR Chapter 10, Chapter X Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Important section pertaining to mortgages. 3 reasons we cannot actually own things. 1. We are chattel collateral, don't own self dead in the I.S. of the law, because you are an entity looked upon as a business, most incompetent, looked upon as a child minor. 2. You never accepted or claim your assets, property, cars, accounts, etc. UCC financial form, irrevocable trust, and warranty deed. 3. Never was a true contract, nor did you get full disclosure or know your rights. Most importantly, you never got the original promissory note, loan, original instrument or allodial title, etc. So in all actuality it's not just being looked upon as being a color or being 3/4 man that is part of the ignorance. The bigger picture is we are enslaved. We are working to pay off a debt that was here before most was born. We have been living in a bankrupt society for many years. Until we have knowledge of commerce, business, we will continue to be in debt and looked upon as slaves. Working for the next, giving our time and energy for something that is intentionally not being corrected. We will work all our lives to struggle to pay bills while the business-savvy crooks eat off our backs in ignorance. Last name, first the living woman, in the capacity of first, middle, last is recorded as the grantee on the warranty grant deed for the real estate described on the attached certified copy of said deed. It is my freewill act and deed to acknowledge my acceptance of the deed and lawful ownership of the property under the terms of the deed. I demand that the record on file in the Office of Register of Deeds be updated to show my acceptance of the deed and lawful ownership of the real estate. Certificate of Acknowledgement and Acceptance. This is my freewill act and deed, under my hand and seal. Third-party witness. Go get jurat, which you will get it notarized then authenticated. Example only. It's time for a change. I am, and we the people are going to bring real change through knowledge. This information is from my notes which I've been reading and researching since 2013. I work and worked alone. Only finding would post then reading for self. I am self-taught and I am not a guru nor do I know everything. I read, apply, execute. Some things I have not tried, but have information. I am only a guidepost to information that helps all people. I take credit good or bad for this as government law and words. I am here to bring balance to a people who have been blinded with ignorance intentionally. Educated through a school system that rather teach BS history that we do not use in everyday life. Instead of teach everyone the system so they have an opportunity to thrive amongst nations. Universal love alien globe smiling face with hearts. When dealing with your abode you must remember there was never equal consideration or disclosure of contract. A contract must be fully disclosed and be signed by two competent living people and should be stamped. Also you must have a remedy to correct any mistakes from ignorance on both sides. The person that created the contract and person who did not understand the contract. Dealing with contractual law. Contract primary tabs. A contract is an agreement between parties, creating mutual obligations that are enforceable by law. The basic elements required for the agreement to be a legally enforceable contract are mutual assent, expressed by a valid offer and acceptance, adequate consideration, capacity, and legality. In some states, elements of consideration can be satisfied by a valid substitute. Possible remedies for breach of contract include general damages, consequential damages, reliance damages, and specific performance. Background. Contracts are promises that the law will enforce. Contract law is generally governed by state common law, and while general overall contract law is common throughout the country, some specific court interpretations of a particular element of the contract may vary between the states. If a promise is breached, the law provides remedies to the harmed party, often in the form of monetary damages, or in limited circumstances, in the form of specific performance of the promise made. Guidepost. https://www.law.cornell.edu/wex/contract. For more information continue to read Guidepost link above. National Currency Act of 1864 Section 27 and Section 28 PG 108 38th Congress. Must read 26 amendments must read all. I'm not here to do all the work. You must read, because that is how people eat off our backs. We do not understand legalis and we do not read. So people come steal your time and energy. National Currency Act of 1864, which is now National Banking Act of 1864. 7 CFR Section 1901.503 Definitions. Guidepost. https://www.law.cornell.edu/cfr/text/7/1901. 503. Lee Electronic Code of Federal Regulations ECFR, Title 7. Agriculture Subtitle B. Regulations of the Department of Agriculture Chapter 18. Rural Housing Service, Rural Business Cooperative Service, and Rural Utilities Service, Department of Agriculture Subchapter H. Program Regulations Part 1901. Program-Related Instructions Subpart K. Certificates of Beneficial Ownership and Insured Notes Section 1901.503 Definitions. 7 CFR Section 1901.503 Definitions. CFR. Table of Popular Names. Previous Next Section 1901.503 Definitions. As used in Sections 1901.505, 1901.507, 1901.508 and 1901.509. The following definitions will apply. 1. Announcement of sale. Any notice of terms and conditions respecting a sale of certificates. 2. Certificate. A certificate of beneficial ownership issued by Rural Development under this subpart. 3. Director. Finance Office. The director or the insured loan officer of the Finance Office of Rural Development. 4. Rural Development. The United States acting through the Rural Housing Service, the Rural Utilities Service, or the Rural Business Cooperative Service or their successor agencies. 5. Finance Office. The office which maintains the Rural Development Finance records. It is located at 1520 Market Street, St. Louis, Missouri 63103. Phone 314-425-4400. Read link above for more information. Your mortgage and original note should be recorded at your county where your abode, home, is also affidavit of acceptance of your warranty deed. The problem is they only record your mortgage, because they sell, monetize, your note without your knowledge. If you do not have the original only a copy, do you truly own it? No. If you don't own yourself, can you truly own anything? No. So how can you validate your alleged debt? The letter of satisfaction when you pay off your abode is no good. You need your original wet ink copy of your promissory note, signed by both parties and official stamp. Reason: people's homes should never be foreclosed. They can't provide the original note and most don't know or enforce their rights. Mortgage and note. Allegedly how they endorse your note after you signed, not autographed. They can tell the knowledge you have by how you autograph your documents. Most don't reserve their rights or even know they can rescind a contract they did not get full disclosure. To sign is a dead entity which is considered a copy. To autograph is to be living. You endorse the mortgage, pay to the order of the United States of America, without recourse, to the 103 to 354 successor agency under public law, the bank. You send it with Form RD 451.20 correctly filled out to the CEO of the bank. Get certified copies you will authenticate to prove they are certified original copies. Then you can officially use as evidence that can be submissible in court. I also like using stamps on my documents to give value and pay freight. We are operating in commercial contracts. The documents will also be sent to the Treasury CEO and/or CFO head office. You want to start your due process. All roads lead to court. Form Road 451-20 Rev. 10-85. Name of borrower, road case number, amount OFNOTEOR, bond date OFNOTE, bond interest rate. Mail code. Date, amount, treasury check, express date. Title. Form Road 451-20 Rev. 10-85. Signature. United States Department of Agriculture Rural Development. Notice and acknowledgement of final payment. Section I. Notice of final payment to the investor. Section 2. Acknowledgement of receipt of final payment. Date, final payment received, name of investor. Date. You will receive under separate cover the United States Treasury check described above. This check should pay the above described insured loan in full with interest due you to the date of the Treasury check. If your records agree, please complete and execute Section 11 of the original of this form when you receive the payment and send it, together with the promissory note bond, to our county supervisor at the address shown in the lower portion of this form. We suggest documents be returned to the county supervisor by certified mail. If your records do not agree, please write to the above address. The extra copy of this form is for your files. The above described loan has been paid in full. It is understood that all obligations of the United States of America as insurer of the loan are terminated. Enclosed for delivery to the borrower by Rural Development is the original promissory note bond endorsed on the reverse side, paid to the order of the United States of America. Without recourse. Forward promissory note or bond to buy. 1. Ask bank to validate alleged debt. They have 30 days. 2. They might send you a copy of the note, but you want the original which we know they destroyed. You give them 21 days, because we don't. Want a copy? Read Administrative Procedures Act of 1946, USC Title 5 Section 5003. After 51 days send bank notice of default. All roads lead to court. Once again I had this information since 2013. Do your own due diligence. The best revenge is to persevere and be successful. I hope you all enjoyed the information. This is not anything that should get you locked up. This is nothing more than operating in commerce the proper way in order to help the debt deficit and protect what you work for. We are not entitled to anything you do not put time and energy in. We have every right to claim and benefit off our hard work and dedication. We have a right to generational wealth. Guidepost Proof of Debt. https://usdebtclock.org/world-debt-clock.html. Giving knowledge of the history of a corrupt system.